Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix. And I'm joined by my two co-pilots, apparently, or at least my two weapon users. We have John and Barry, I've decided. Look at them sporting my little Nurgle flag and everything. So yes, while I was gone, apparently NPCs have finally been implemented. The NPC spawner has been here for a long time, but either didn't work or occasionally spawned different NPC depending on which update you're thinking of. But now we have functional NPCs and they are awesome. They really are adorable. I won't be using them too much in the campaign, but if you're just in the mood for something silly and something rather awesome, then they are pretty damn amazing. They will use items just like the AI will, as you would expect. You can't really alter them, that's really the biggest issue. And they respawn quite oddly, and they generally require you to basically take the boat out of play and bring it back. So during a battle where repairs are a thing, they're not really good for big things. But what they're just awesome at is the fact they replace the AI. If you really wanted a ship completely crewed, you can do that. And that, I think, is awesome. Because essentially, you put one down, if they can't find anywhere to go, they'll just, kind of float there, kind of awesomely. I like using the word awesome today, apparently. And if they find something that's unmanned in the near vicinity, they'll simply walk on over to it and use it. They can use weapons, they can use ship steering wheels, they can use turrets as weapons, they can do pretty much everything you might be thinking of. I'm sure there's some exceptions to the rule, but mostly they're pretty much like that. So today, what are we doing today? Well, I've been gone for the last 5 days, because, well, 6 days actually if you count the day before and day after, but I've been on holiday. Hurrah! It was a rather good time. I was in Germany, I proposed to my girlfriend officially, with a ring and everything, so now we are officially fiancés. Haha! Ah, the greatness. Wait, fiancés? No, it's fiancée and fiancé. I don't know. She's my fiancée, that's all we need to know. So today we're going to ease myself back by doing some turret science, because today we're going to try to build a turret in the hull. Lots of you, and I mean lots of you, have suggested this. What I've noticed is this has always been possible, but recently a few other YouTubers, I can't quite remember exactly who, but it's several YouTubers who do From the Depths have started building their turret inside the hull. Essentially what I mean is they put the main piece, let's say here, they have all the ammo boxes and everything going up, and then only the firing piece kind of sticks out of a small hole in the hull, meaning that the main turret itself is very well protected. And ever since they've done that, I now know that that is a thing. I mean, I've always knew it was a thing, but I never really thought about doing it, so we're going to try to do that. I've kind of segmented the floor here a little bit, just so it's got somewhere to build on. I made this out of wood because at the time I didn't have any metal, which we now do have because I managed to capture and scrap a second buzzsaw. So let's get working on that then. So new object, we'll be doing 2 turn. We'd want the 1 turn then, because this would also mean it would lean, and that's not what I'd want. I just wanted to only use the horizontal movements. I don't want horizontal and elevation movements, so we're going to do that. I want this to be quite small, as this will be a test thing. We should also actually remove this beam for now. Let's just remove a small area here, and go for the centre of that. Or at least near the centre, because of course sadly these are even. That would be very small though, so perhaps here instead. So go here, and of course then we do all the usual gubbins. Let's go custom cannon, 6-way connectors. I just want to see how this exactly works. Once it's up, we'll kind of build a better one probably. So we don't really want it bigger than that, do we? Because things will go on the outside here as well. So something like, actually what we could do is make a bit of a cage here in the middle. And what the cage could do is hold... Oh, no. The cage would have to be a bit bigger than that, sorry. Yeah, the cage I was going to do automatic reloaders and then ammo boxes in the centre like that, but of course, that needs to be one wider than I thought. Whoops, daisy, been wrong freaking way there. So let's just quickly do that. Okay, the 6-way connectors are done, so now we want these, want them on manual, because they probably won't do what I want them to do, so we want them like this. So the idea is then this cage we'll be able to hold a lot of ammo boxes. Then we add like the explosive warheads and gauge increases around the outside. So we do that. Then we have ammo boxes. Okay. So yeah, today's going to be a pretty much quite a heavy building episode, because I haven't really done one of those in a while. Next episode, however, we're going to be trying to change up how my Serpent/Blight Legion works. Ah, yeah, that's actually going to be... Yeah, okay, yeah, so I can then... If I wanted to, I could add even more manual loaders there. So we have all that, then in the center we do this as well. Yeah, so we'll be changing how they work, because I've had a splendid idea from one of the lovely comment suggestions, which is, why don't I have a couple of them be converted into essentially bombers? Also, let's go back to hull editing for a second. Let's make this hull a little bit bigger so I know what I'm working with. Maybe what I should have done is made this one... Yeah, I should have made this one lower. I've gone up by one for some reason. I really shouldn't have. So all of this should be removed, so that we can put the metal back afterwards. Okay. Actually, no, the problem is now the 6-way connectors are going to need to go... Yeah, we should have had the 6-way connectors in the middle, because now we're going to need quite a large gap. Unless I just remove that layer. That will connect to these two. Okay, that's fine. 6-way connectors, So this is the middle, yep, that's absolutely fine. And then we can stick out like so, with the firing piece on top there. We'll attach it all properly in a second. Okay, wonderful. Maybe a bit lower than that. There we are. No. Yes. Okay, so how much gauge do you want this thing to have? Not too much. Let's go with 4 or 6. So 4 like that. We don't want it to be too quick firing. We don't want this one to be a quick firer. 6 might... We could go full 8 instead. That'd be kind of cool. But let's not. Okay, explosive warheads are going to be extremely explosive, so We probably actually need more ammo boxes. Now I'm looking at this, actually. So let's go with a few ammo boxes. And then these can be armor piercers. And the front can be more explosive, which are the more important, in my opinion, when you're going with semi-fast firing cannons. So that's kind of the whole point then. You do this and you build it up as so that way all of this is being protected by the hull itself. We don't need a separate metal casing. And of course we will have a separate metal casing anyway for the actual turret itself, which we're going to do a real simple barrel, motor, barrel, motor, because I don't really care about too much elevation. I just want it as a 45-45 in the end, and this way we can get some accuracy in as well. I see an enemy approaching us. Why is an enemy approaching us here? Well, that'll be easy enough with the Scythe already kind of positioned to fight, so we'll go into a fight in a second at least, so yay for that. But I want to finish off most of that turret, so let's go. Turrets, nope, there we are. Okay, how much accuracy does that have? That's an inaccuracy rate of about 1. I quite like it being a little bit inaccurate like that, plus this way we can make the turret quite small and it still look okay. So actually I think I might save that, and then that way we can make a few of these turrets along the side, you see. That's why I was trying to make it quite compact, so we can have it along the sides, along the bridge, then in the front we can have 2 or 3 much larger cannons. So let's just jump into the battle then. Let battle begin, and already we have a nasty bit of damage done to the enemy. Ooh, what is that? I've not actually seen that enemy before, or maybe I have and I've simply forgot. Is that meant to... Yeah, it's meant to ram the enemy. It's like a arrow or a javelin or something. Arrow! Yay! Hurrah for getting the name correct. Oh yes! You may see that the missiles now have different trails. It's because this reduces lag and such and has been implemented to look cool. I actually really like them. Some people have been a bit sad about them. I've been rather joyful, honestly. A lot of optimization stuff has actually happened as well, because as you can probably tell, this is running a lot faster. The only slowdowns are from the explosion slowdowns, which I still keep on because I still prefer that to not having them. Okay, so just stay here so you can see both of the fights happening. Oh, torpedoes! I would like to see the torpedoes actually hit the mark though. Must be said. Okay, he's about to go down. He's already out of the battle. Doesn't matter at all. That little guy down there is being... Yep, and there goes his engines for the most part. The torpedoes just now reaching their target, and bang. Everything we wanted to see. Aye dead, and so goes he, and so goes he. As we expected, really, from a strength 40 attack, we really didn't expect too much resistance, honestly. And then all of them target the next enemy, thus resulting in a huge volley of missiles all hitting at the same time. which actually isn't what you want. There's the thing, you don't really want fragment warheads to land at the same time. But yeah, so back to the whole idea of having some of these as bombers. That way we can have the fighters at a much higher altitude, and the bombers by a different name at a much lower altitude. I'm thinking either very fast-moving torpedoes, or just a much more accurate mine drop rather than the blanket that we use currently than the carpet bombing. I'm thinking probably the torpedoes, and that way we can have the Blight bombers and the Serpent fighters, and that way both names are correct and I don't keep on messing it up. Okay, well, let's go ahead and armour up my new turret. Actually, what I should do is test it. Let's just fire it a few seconds. Oh, look, explosions in the background. Rather beautiful. So we should have all shots explosive, most shots being armour piercing and explosive. I don't quite know. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, and the accuracy is pretty much what we want to see. Accurate enough that about 50+% will actually hit the target, and inaccurate enough that it'll do a lot of collateral damage and work quite well with fast-moving targets, and the barrel isn't very big. So that's the whole point, you see. The whole point of this style of building turrets, and I completely appreciate that, and I think I will try to move to this, particularly on the bigger ships, is that now we can hide a lot of the turret, a lot of the hull space, a lot of the, not the hull, the hull is the top of the hull space. I think it is called the hull space, isn't it? Because that's the words, everyone. Words. We have a lot more space on top by sacrificing some space on the inside, and that way we not only protect the turret more, but also enable more turrets to be placed. Because this is going to be remarkably small. I can have this as just like a bit of armour there. Also, the mouse is doing that weird thing again. I can fix this, I just need to quickly log out and log back in. Well, reload the save. Well, here we are, tested out in the sandbox mode, because trying to turn these turrets manually can be a real pain in the butt. We now have 3 in-hull cannons, and the mouse is doing its super fun thing yet again, so I'll go and fix that in a moment. But right now, yes indeed, we have 3 hull cannons, which means these should be quite hard to kill in comparison to our old ones, and as you can see, they're taking up a lot less space, and are just about as strong, if not stronger. They're a little bit inaccurate, but that is kind of the point, so they will be able to at least be used against flying enemies and fast enemies. They're a bit lacking in armour penetration, however, so I may alter them. They are simply copied and pasted. Each one is the exact same. They are triplets, indeed. So, I want a variation of this, I think, for the sides, but they're a little bit too big. What I could do is have 2 more. So 1 here and then 1 on the other side, and that way we have 5 of these ones, because these should be quite effective in general. And then think about doing something for the side, perhaps even... what I could do is extend this section before we make the bridge in the middle, and have these 2 plateaus which will be created as spaces for a very large, powerful turret on either side, able to shoot 180 degrees, so all the way back, all the way forward, and that. Of course, the 180-degree turret doesn't actually exist anymore, so you'd have to do that manually, which is very easy to do. It's just a matter of altering some of its targeting settings in the weapon AI and stuff. So we could do that. And the more I think about it, the more I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll have 5 of these at the front, these small, more fast-shooting turrets, which are quite cheap and quite cheerful. Actually, how much do they cost? Does it actually tell me? It does! So they're 14,000 each. So they're the cost of a very, very small ship each. But considering this... Wow, I just realised I can almost get a full Serpent per turret. Well, that's why we're using regular turrets, I suppose. They're expensive and easy to be countered, but they're fun as hell. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and do the other 2, which just means basically tearing out a bit of the hull and putting it in. Then I'll go ahead and extend this and consider what weapons are going there. Well, here we are in the sandbox mode, and I have been trying to avoid the sandbox mode as much as possible in this season, because it does make a game a little bit easier, because of course, right now I'm relaxed, the enemy are not growing in power, and I could spend all day here. That's why the majority of my building is done in the campaign mode. That's why Hull is currently half finished, just lying there in the campaign, as opposed to me building Hull here and simply loading the blueprint. But at certain times, when there's an element which I think, because of user error, because me doing something wrong, could very easily cause the series to revert, or I could lose a catastrophic amount, then of course I'll go to the sandbox mode just to ensure that doesn't happen. So, obviously Hull isn't finished yet. We have this massive keel, which is only in the sandbox mode, just just to make sure we're not floating and bobbing around, so we're nice and low in the water. This is about where I want to be when it's finished, although apparently it's a little bit front light. Oh, and that's because the keel doesn't go all the way, derp. We have all our turrets, and we have 2 new turrets, of course, the 2 huge turrets, which are these monstrous things. Yes, indeed. So it's all hooked up to this AI, this very, very smart AI, and we're going to see how it does. The one thing I do need to add to the AI, just to make sure that we're going the fair test, is if we go on to AI, and we want the card slots front and back, and we want target prioritization and aim point selection most importantly. Okay, so let's just spawn in an enemy. I guess a marauder would work, and let's see if this will work. Oh, that's all the way over there. Well, I guess we can at least test out these ones. Ooh, why didn't that one turn? Wow. That does not have a good failsafe. Okay, that one's failsafe. Well, all of their failsafes then need to be tweaked, as that should have recognised that before firing. Well, we're doing a fair bit of damage with the 3 that actually are firing, so why isn't this one turning? Sir, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you able to turn? Receiver, yep. We have mainframe, one weapon can aim at the target. Something stopping it turning. Ooh, why couldn't that turn? Why? Clearly I've done something wrong with the hull itself. It's being blocked, isn't it? Now, where is it being blocked by? That doesn't seem to be being blocked at all. I mean, that's what I've got. It's how I've got it set up on the others. And that goes up, and of course we're actually at the hull level itself. So I'll have a quick look-see and figure out what's wrong with that. So there we go, straight away we found a problem, which we can fix by just having a look-see, hopefully. Okay, so I finally found the issue, and it's not something I actually expected. It turns out that these sections here, what do you call them, the angled blocks, where are you, you beautiful bugger? There we are, the metal triangle corners actually have the hitbox of a full beam. Now, I knew they had a larger hitbox than they look, but I didn't realise just how big it is. Now, I figured this out because this one couldn't turn to the right and this one couldn't turn to the left, meaning it had to be something either immediately here or immediately here. And considering there's nothing here and they both have an equal gap to come through the hull, it had to be this. Now that could be a bit of an issue, because this is actually guarding a lot of the bigger turret behind it. But if we remove this, that means, well, they should now be able to actually turn as intended. Let's have a quick look-see. Aiming at the west, all of them, yep, absolutely fine, no issue at all. All of the main weapons there turn and happily fire as intended. What an odd issue. What an odd issue indeed. Okay, so what's left to do then? Not much at all, really. I've tested out all the turrets. So these 2 are currently off. That's why you can't see them turning, because I just wanted to test out the front weapons. Nothing really much else to test. They're certainly powerful enough, but easily countered by shields, and won't be too good against very fast targets. So let's just finish off in the sandbox and go back to the main game. Well, here we are back in the regular mode, and I'm almost finished building for the day because I feel drained. I have changed the turrets quite heavily because you must bear in mind that these lovely barrels are essentially ghost when they're moving, as in when a barrel is aiming left and right, it is essentially not there, which is fantastic. This also, of course, goes for turning of a turret. The reason why this is because lag issues and all sorts, but we have taken advantage of this by doing this, because this should mean that these 2 turrets can pretty much turn wherever they want. At least that's the plan and the hope. I'm not sure about this one beam here, so this will be removed briefly, and of course we'll test it all again in sandbox mode before we're finished. Even if it can't go all the way around it wants to, it can of course definitely do the side it's on, which is the important thing. We are going to have a bit of a difference here now in the middle. I'm no longer going with the option of the two stationary cannons. Instead, we're going to have something else. So all this will be stripped eventually. I'm not sure what's going to go here. It's either going to be an anti-missile missile system, so missile interceptors and flares, or it's going to probably be just holding shields and that sort of thing, because of course we do now have power. If you look at the bottom right, you will see our engine power. it's a little bit ridiculous. Now, before we see the engine, I did make one error when doing the prefab for this, so it copied weirdly, and by prefab, of course, I mean copying my own engine so that it may be used as an engine extender. Here's the error, it shouldn't have been like this. So this is not the best design still in the world, even without that, but as you can see, it really doesn't matter all that much. That is ridiculously high amount of power, which we'll never use, so we will have to do something about that though. So it's a shame this won't use lasers. Of course, I am still trying to stick away from lasers as much as possible, at least on ships like this. I would like every ship to fill one role and one role only, so it has flavour and use in a fleet. If I started adding lasers, it would also be an anti-air ship, you get the idea. I just want it to have loads and loads of cannons, and thus be basically a gunbed, essentially. It's a warship, it's a battleship, and there are enemies on the horizon. It seems like a battle is abound, and I think it's about time we watch the Scythe do a full battle. It's been a while. So, while I ponder how to do this, the bridge is going to go here, along with a few other things, like a fake radar on top, even though I don't need it, and stuff like that. Actually, I may actually use the radar on top. Instead of being, as I just said, a radar, it could be laser guidance for missiles. But that would, of course, require using missiles on this, which I don't really want. So that'll have a lot of thought in. I'm not sure how... I also don't want the cost of this thing to go much higher. It's already at 573. If we keep it down to below 700, it means by the time we finish the second faction, of course our second faction being the White Flyers, we could have 2 of these ships in one fleet and then have a lot of accompanying vessels, so it's not truly a flagship. I don't think this will be our flagship anyway. I think it'll just be something to haul cannons around. So, let's get to the battle and end the episode. Time to battle. There we go. 4 Serpents and the Scythe versus I've not seen this before. So, a ship I've never seen before, an Arrow and a Sea Flyer. Now, a Sea Flyer I've definitely seen before. Well, we're going to go on board the Scythe, as always, and let's go. It also does... I also have just realised we could have afforded several Scythes for the cost of just one of those battleships so far. Oh, Missile Interceptor's doing a terrible job there, and our Serpent being eradicated because of it. Those were very fast missiles. So this is... Oh, I have seen these before. They're the missile carriers. Those are fast missiles. Whoa, those interceptors are doing terribly at actually keeping the missiles off us. That's not going well. Very poor start from the Scythe there. Where can I put the camera? I'm trying to just rest the camera more these days. There we go. So the Serpents are there chasing down the Arrow and doing quite a good job of it by the looks. The Scythe is now going in for those. I could order them all to attack that, but honestly I'd rather the Arrow go down. There we go. They'll all be changing target fairly soon. Oh, no, it's not down yet, but those torpedoes will make short work of it. No, not you. There we go. The torpedoes and the mines will finish off the Arrow, which is currently downed in the water. Oh, here comes more missiles. Doing a bit of a dance there as they missed, thankfully, the Serpents a little bit faster than would be needed. That Arrow took a beat. Are those all torpedoes in the... Yeah, those are torpedoes on the surface there. Either way, there we go, all down. You're dead, and so are your friends. The 2 large missiles from the Scythe kind of making short work of that there. We should make... Can you actually make it so you don't drop things like mines and such over land? I guess you can make it so you have to make sure the enemy is underneath, I guess, but that'd be quite difficult with the torpedoes, particularly as I want them to go quite far away, you see, from the drop target. Well, there we are, down it goes regardless. And happiness reigns. So then, this will be it. So, thank you so much for watching, but next time, we're going to be altering the... Haha! Sorry about that, the phone just went. What was I saying? Yes, we'll be altering the Serpent so that this doesn't happen in the future, and I'll make sure that in fleets they all have different settings. We'll also be altering the Blight to be a bomber, so we have two variants of the same flyer, and a bit more work is still needed on the Scythe. But overall, I think we're doing pretty well. We are soundly stopping the aggression of the White Flyers while still being able to hold certain areas. Oh, a battle over here as well against the Serpents and Blights. Oh, 89. Well, I guess we'll play this one through. Ah. Oh good, they're all facing the right way. Okay, so let's just get this onwards then, shall we? After all that building, let's do a bit of combat, shall we? Oop, there we go. I love that starting volley from the Serpent Squadron. But yeah, so the next time they're in a fleet, in a squadron, I will be ensuring... So the next time I basically make one, I'll be ensuring that each member has different, very lightly different settings for their cruising altitude and their bombing altitude. Wow, did that harpoon just grab one of our Serpents? That is really cool and really bad. Oh, let go. Didn't last long enough, apparently. Well, the missiles are doing pretty good work there. Yeah, the two enemy flyers are pretty much out. I think we need to start focusing on different... So what can this one actually do? Let's just have a quick look-see. You have a strong ability to heal, which is annoying. You can't do much other than the harpoon. The harpoon seems to be only mildly effective. But you're going to be a nightmare to try and kill. You also look like a rocket. I guess that's... Yeah, you're clearly meant to look like a rocket of some kind. Okay, both the enemy flyers are at least out of the sky. I do love the new trials, it must be said. They are very good on the old CPU as well. Certainly make battles a lot smoother than the old effects. Oh, one of our Serpents been downed. Another one's coming down. I think that might have been attached to a harpoon by the looks of how it's been moving. Nope, that's definitely not the case, because that was not the harpoon vessel. Perhaps I'm just thinking about harpoons now I've seen them. Oh, here comes another harpoon weapon. Will it manage to grab the Serpent? Yes, it will. Oh, did that take out the engine as well? Oh, what a nasty shot. Not only has it grabbed it, it's also took out its main engine. Its main jet, rather. Not its engine. Its engine's actually quite well protected. The Serpents have pretty well defended engines. The rain is back. I was wondering when the rain would be back. One of the enemies is down. And that did a good job of actually affecting us. Is it going into the water? It's definitely going into the water. Well done, that enemy. I guess we are extremely light. Well, we're not extremely light, but we're very small, we should say, flyers. So being able to be taken down. I'm going to just leave this for a second. No, I won't. I want to see if that rams it. There's too much stuff to want to watch. I want to watch this, and I want to watch over there. Okay, he's back up, but this one's been really down. That's quite odd, because the balloons can keep this thing up by itself. So to see it... there we go. So to see it completely in the water is bizarre, but I guess that is the harpoons at work. It's going to grab 3... No, this is going off into the clouds. That is successfully keeping 2 of ours down. I'm going to actually change targets for my ships. This is getting a little bit out of hand now. There we are. All targeted. Fantastic. And one of them from the distance changing target there. What have you all been working on? Oh, it's that fast... the fast ones are a nuisance for these fighters. And this is why the ground units need to be made either with mines, with magnetic mines or torpedoes. The missiles that the Serpents fire just aren't very good against fast-moving targets. So at least now I can say Serpents and be correct with the fighters, with Blights being bombers very, very soon. Also, I just realised I actually did that thing wrong with all target. Oops. Oh well. Here they come, the squadron. Let's just watch this thing get annihilated, shall we? There we go, AI dead. Oh, he could no, it'll be very hard to actually grab right now. A lot of people have recommended using a speedboat or something similar to capture vehicles, and I have thought about that in the past. It's just a nuisance having it in the battle and making sure it goes with fleets. It can cause some issues. Also, it still runs into the problem of getting to the ship when it's damaged enough. Also, of course, new ships being added to the factions will be using the NPCs with their guns and horrible things, so small ships just running in don't really work out quite so well anymore. And down there still damaged. Oh, they're going to ram each other. All of our ships about to hit each other. Are they? Two of them have. Three of them. Oh, that's why I need to alter it. I can't watch. I can watch. Oh, thank the Dark Lords, they can heal each other. The last enemy, the enemy which had given me all sorts of trouble earlier, has been completely downed. What I could do is jump on this one, which is just heading towards there now, and jump off. I don't think that's going to survive long enough. No, at this stage I don't really want to stop the attack either. I could have stopped them from attacking at this stage, but at least we get a very unique view from underneath. Oh! One of the serpents hit me. One of the serpents hit me. There we are. Well, battle is finished. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's a little bit erratic episode, it actually took a lot longer to record than you might think. This was 4 hours of footage, but I was all over the place trying to sort one thing out, then had another idea and another idea, so it may be a bit disjointed after the editing, but thank you so much for watching. And if you have enjoyed all that, then of course likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future.